A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. That was Trump's tweet this morning, April 7th, 2026. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. He said that referring to the bombing he intends to carry out on Iran tonight if they don't open the Strait of Hormuz. And to be clear, Iran has said it ain't happening. Iran has responded saying, if you do that, if you try to bomb us, we will take your allies back to the Stone Age. And in fact, Iran did carry out multiple strikes last night, including desalination plants on some of its neighbors. Someone has to stop him, right? We know this. Someone has to stop him. And who will it be? The military, for their part, have been having some pushback. We know that multiple high-level generals and other officers refuse to follow orders. And I think 12 of them have been fired so far, including the Joint Chief of Staff. So the military is attempting to stand up with the power that it has, although they're just getting rid of all the ones who will stand up so that the ones who will go along, who are yes men, will do what Trump wants them to do. So if we don't stop them, who will? Do you really think the world can let this happen? Do you think the world, because if we do this to Iran, who's next? And the rest of the world is watching this, asking that exact question. Go love your neighbor.
Y'all, it's worse. It's worse. He is so unhinged. He is threatening to destroy an entire civilization. He posted that tonight an entire civilization might be gone, that they're just gonna die tonight. These are the things that our president, the president of the United States, finds acceptable to post for the entire world to see. And of course, there are people calling on the 25th Amendment. But this has happened before, and nothing changes. Nothing changes. So many of us here in the United States are just terrified for the future, for today. I don't know what comes next. And I hope it doesn't get any worse. And I hope he chickens out like he usually does. But I think we need to be prepared for the possibility of what could come next.
Today, the United States stands at a crossroad. It is time to remove Donald Trump from the presidency. This morning, the President of the United States used his social media platform to threaten to wipe a civilization from the face of the planet. Let us be clear. Not only is this activity unbefitting a president of the United States, but it is the threat of actual crimes against humanity and war crimes under international law. And it is clear that Donald Trump is no longer, nor has he ever been, fit to serve as president of this United States and as the commander-in-chief of our military. Now, there are a number of tools that can be used to remove him from the presidency, but we cannot do it alone. We need our colleagues across the aisle, the Republicans who control the White House, the cabinet, the Senate, and the House, to find the courage and the backbone to act not only for the humanity of this planet, but for the national security and well-being of this country. And so that is why I am calling for the invocation of the 25th Amendment by the cabinet, why I am calling for the impeachment by Congress, and why I am calling for the passage of a war powers resolution in Congress to stop this president right now. Now, it's important to understand that these tools are the tools that we have at our disposal to stop this president. It is what the Constitution allows us to do. In the case of the 25th Amendment, as was passed and ratified in 1967, Section 4 has never been utilized in the United States before, but it provides that the vice president and a majority of the cabinet can call for the president to no longer serve as president and for the vice president to step in and to act if he is incapacitated. Congress cannot do this on its own. This is an action that must be taken by a vice president and by the cabinet. And if the president contests that action, then Congress has to act by a 2/3 vote in both chambers. And so while it is not a silver bullet for solving this issue at this moment, it is the most immediate action that could be taken to remove the president from the dangerous and life-threatening position that he is currently occupying. Now, Congress still must act. We must impeach this president. It is clear under our constitutional duty that he has committed high crimes and misdemeanors of manyfold. And so we must pursue impeachment, but the most immediate path to removal is the 25th Amendment, but that requires the cabinet to act. And so we are calling on our Republican colleagues in the cabinet, we are calling on our Republican colleagues in the Congress to do the right thing for this country, for the American people, and for the safety and well-being of millions across this planet. Because this cannot stand. It is clear that he has become incapacitated and is not fit to serve as our president and as the commander-in-chief, and we must stop any potential crimes before they could happen. Now, in order to do any of this, it requires that our Republican colleagues step up and meet the moment for the American people. That means that the Speaker of the House and the leadership in the Senate must call us back into session in Washington, D.C. immediately. And it means that our colleagues must find the courage to act. This is the moment. History is watching. Do the right thing.
This is horrible. We have a terrible, crazy president. It's unhinged. It's horrible. It should not be happening.
How does it make you feel? I mean, literally, we all know where we are, right? And
Yeah,
being in
yeah.
this, what do you
I
think?
was here when World Trade Center happened. I'm a New Yorker, so it's only worse. It's terrifying. It's terrifying. It's horrible.
Like how I said before, learning how to have discretion. Learning how to deal with things with humility.
Not very pleased because you can't just come out as a politician or anybody and say this is what's going to happen. So it's really just it's for me it's words that a politician shouldn't use. It's even though he might think it's the truth in his own mind, it's not in my mind, I'm afraid.
I think the whole situation is quite devastating and sad, and I really hope peace comes back. I think, to be fair, being in such a place where, the 9/11 Memorial Centre, it's a big reminder of what the impacts of war and all this international terrorism can happen and do.
Trump said he'll be wiping out a whole entire civilization tonight, so let me tell you guys how it's going to affect us as Americans. First of all, 20 to 30% of our nitrogen fertilizer comes from Iran. We use that to grow tomatoes, carrots, broccoli, basically every fruit and vegetable. And by extension, we also use it for the animals that we eat, like chickens and cows, because we use it to boost the food that they eat. Second of all, anything coming from China, any packages, none of that's happening. Wars delay shit, and if we're committing war crimes on top of the war we're already in, we already know how that's going to happen. Around 80 to 90% of China's oil supply comes from Iran. I really don't think y'all know China will take it there. Any country will take it there over their entire oil supply. And how are we supposed to build allies, and who the hell is going to help us? Nobody wants to be allies with a country who's wiped out an entire civilization. Literally, the only country that'll want anything to do with us potentially will be Israel. And that says a fucking lot. Americans will be safe nowhere, inside nor outside of the country. Do you think nobody's gonna want to retaliate for a whole entire civilization being wiped out? A lot of y'all voted for this. Our president is doing nothing but pushing us to a certain death, or just our economy being dead. Soon, us Americans will literally have fucking nothing to our names. People don't even consider us a first world country anymore. If that doesn't tell you a lot, I don't know what the fuck will.
Who could have predicted that just an hour and a half from him threatening to end Iranian civilization, Donald Trump has instead done the complete opposite, caved back down, given in? How weak does Donald Trump look tonight? How pathetic talked up the threats, end of civilization, at strikes that nobody had ever seen before in the history of the world. And then, just as the world is watching to see what that might look like, Trump says, actually, we're calling off all bombing for 2 weeks because Pakistan's asked me to do it. And actually, we've been having some talks with Iran that seem to be going sort of well. A lot of relief, thank goodness. Thank goodness he's once again backed down from his insane, in this case, genocidal, unhinged position to end Iranian civilization. But on the basis of what?
Open the effing straight. How dare you speak that way on Easter morning to the country? Who do you think you are? You're tweeting out the F word on Easter morning? Just watch. Praise be to Allah. This is a mockery not just of Islam, it's a mockery of Christianity. To send out a tweet with the F word on Easter morning promising the murder of civilians and then saying praise be to Allah without explaining any of it, you are mocking me and every other Christian because we're Christians. We can't support that. That is evil. It is vile on every level. It begins with a promise to use the U.S. military, our military, to destroy civilian infrastructure in another country, which is to say to commit a war crime, a moral crime against the people of the country, blow up their bridges that people cross every day to go to school and work and to worship, and yes, church, because there are over 1 million Christians in Iran. This is their Easter too. And power plants, civilian power plants in a country of almost 100 million people. Iran is a modern country. What happens when it loses power? Well, people die. Babies connected to incubators die. People in hospitals die. It's totally unacceptable. Not under the phony laws of some international body, but under moral law, God's law. Killing non-combatants, people who did nothing wrong, who didn't choose this war, who are just people created by God. That is immoral. That will never be moral. That can never be justified. That is always wrong.
It is so much easier for me to respect you if you just come right out and say who or what you are. You know, if you have an agenda, then say that. If you're racist, just say that. Like, I can accept that a whole lot better than you lying to my face to try to justify the unjustifiable. And that's what a lot of you guys do. You tell me, I'm a Republican because I believe in fiscal responsibility. No, you don't. You just believe that the only people who should steal from you are white men. You don't want anybody to benefit with you, because that would include black people or brown people, maybe some immigrants, and you absolutely cannot deal with that. You don't believe in fiscal responsibility. If you did, then you would not be screaming about what you call entitlement programs. Rather, you would be screaming about all of the corporate welfare that the government gives to corporations. Because contrary to popular belief, the largest beneficiary of government assistance are billion-dollar corporations. But you have no qualms with them. No, you will speak out loudly, proudly, strong against the single dad who's getting $6 a day to feed his baby that he is raising by himself because he lost his wife during childbirth. You think that the issue is the single mom raising 3 children by herself because her husband died in combat fighting for this country. You think they are the problem and not people like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos who don't pay taxes. You don't think it's a problem at all that you pay a higher percentage in taxes than they do. It's because you're racist. Like, I can respect that a lot more. Oh, and here's another one that I hear a lot. It's very apropos. You'll like this. So I hear I'm a conservative or I vote Republican because, we're the party of family values. Pro-life, we got to protect the babies, stand up for the unborn. This could be the answer, the cure to cancer. This child could cure cancer, could wipe out AIDS. Or this child could kill their mother. They could slaughter their father. Their mother could die trying to give birth to them. Nobody knows. No, nobody knows, but you justify it because you want the birth, but you do not want to provide for the life. You're not pro-life. You're pro-birth. If you were pro-life, then you would absolutely be supporting Democratic candidates who will push programs that assist people during life. But you're not. You're just racist, and you don't want to say I'm racist and I only want the white babies to be born, so I'm going to support Republican policies that will ensure that we get the most number of white babies, because white babies, those were the ones being killed the most because white women were getting the most elective abortions, and we don't want to lose the majority. You could say that, and I could respect you a lot more. Instead, you say, no, I'm a Republican because I'm pro-life. You know, Republicans believe in biblical marriage. You know, like the Bible told us. I don't know if you have ever read the Bible. I'll just give you a hint. Fathers were paid dowries for their 12-year-old daughters by old men 2, 3, 4 times their age. They had no choice. They had no choice, no say-so in the matter. So when a male would have a daughter, he knew if he could keep that daughter pure, he would be able to, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, y'all do believe in biblical marriage because you offer up your daughters all the time to be groomed in your churches by your pastors and your deacons and your youth group leaders. You absolutely believe in biblical marriage. You just don't pay the dowries. You don't receive the benefits. You just allow them to be abused consistently. You do. And that could be avoided if you would just admit your internalized racism, but you don't want to do that. And here, let me tell you the perfect example of how I know you're not pro-life. This morning, 47, truth. That he was going to wipe out an entire population of people. Here, let me read it. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. Okay, you know what? I'm not reading the rest of this. That's it. That's all. And I waited. I did a video this morning, like 7:15. I was drinking my coffee and I saw that. And after I checked to be sure that it was accurate, I did a video. And it was a lot of cussing and screaming and yelling into the phone. Because I was angry. I was disgusted. I was embarrassed. And my heart started aching. I literally was crying because I was so mad. And I didn't post it because I thought, oh, wait, this is the perfect time. Because all of those people who tell me that they vote Republican because they're pro-life, this is their time to shine. I don't have to post this video. They're going to say it. They're going to talk about it. Because all of those people who are pro-life, who tell me that they cannot dare support a Democratic candidate because Democrats believe that women should be able to control their own bodies, that they should be able to choose whether or not they are willing to sacrifice their life for the life of an unborn embryo. They say, no, we can't do that. You got to protect the babies. And then 47 says that. And do you know what y'all said? Nothing. Nothing. Some of the same people who I have seen in videos because they are protesting at abortion clinics, screaming at people that they are going to hell. They're the ones out there saying, don't kill your baby. You're going to go to hell. No, don't do it. You're going to be a murderer. Those same people saw that 47 said tonight an entire civilization will die, never to be brought back again. And they said nothing. Because you're not pro-life. No, you're pro-birth. And you hide behind Republican lies to justify your racism, to justify your hatred. And here's how I know. Because every single argument you make, I can tear it to shreds because it's not backed up with policy. Republican policies are only good for wealthy corporations and their owners. But y'all don't know that because y'all don't read. You think that because your pastor told you in church that we've got to fight for the unborn. We've got to make sure that the babies are being born. You think that the Republican policies align around that. Do you know how many women have died? Do you know how many have bled out in parking lots? Do you know how many babies have also lost their lives? See, if you were really pro-life, then you would know every single statistic, but you don't because you don't care. You don't care when he says an entire civilization would be wiped out. Millions of people. You don't care because you're not pro-life. You just need a cover to hide behind your racism. Because how dare somebody black like Natalie, somebody brown, ooh, maybe somebody who wasn't even born here actually get a benefit. No. Regular people don't qualify for that. We only want benefits for corporations that continue to screw us over, because we are completely fine being screwed over as long as we're being screwed over by white men. Y'all disgust me. It is absolutely insane. This is the upside down. Because to say that you care about women, to say that you are concerned about children being born, you don't give a damn about kids. Not when he said he was going to wipe out the entire civilization. And you said nothing. And you're still silent.
We have some major news. Donald Trump and his administration are in full-blown panic mode as more and more members of Congress call for him to be impeached and removed from office. There are now over 70 House Democrats calling for his impeachment. This is a list of just some of them. Here's more, and at the bottom you have 2 Democratic senators who are also calling for Donald Trump to be impeached and removed. And the unfortunate reality for Donald Trump is that right now, it's not just Democrats calling for him to be removed, it's also Republicans like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who reacted to his insane threat this morning by saying, 25th Amendment, not a single bomb has been dropped on America. We cannot kill an entire civilization. This is evil and madness. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene wants Donald Trump out of office. The pressure is growing on Donald Trump, and it seems more and more likely that he's going to fold. He's going to back out of this threat, which is obviously what we all want.
Hey y'all, this is United States Congressman Greg Casar, and this is serious. This is a really scary day for people all over the world, because Donald Trump just threatened to wipe out the entire civilization of Iran. He's talking about wiping off the face of the earth, a country of 90 million people, including countless civilians and kids. But this isn't just dangerous for people in Iran, it's dangerous for people all over the world and here at home, for him to threaten these massive war crimes and even imply potential nuclear war. This might be Donald Trump's most dangerous and unhinged statement yet, and he's being enabled by his cabinet, by Republican members of Congress, and we've got to up the pressure on all of them before Donald Trump puts us at grave risk, potentially drags us into World War III. And remember, Iran posed no immediate threat to us. Even right-wing members of Trump's government said that. This wasn't even a thing just a few months ago. And now he's putting us and the entire world at risk. So we have to up the pressure and put a stop to this right now.
I cannot be the only one that is anxiously waiting for tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Like, if he actually does this, this will escalate the war in areas that we've never seen before. And I'm talking the oil crisis is going to be greater than 1970. But yet, MAGA, you wanted this, you voted for this. So I guess it's the will of the people, right? You guys wanted this new war, you wanted high gas prices, so you got your wish.
It's absolute madness. Disturbing.
I agree with Trump. I like him. I think the man's doing the right thing.
According to me, it's a war crime.
Well, I'm part of civilization, and so are you. So is he, by the way. There is no reason to wipe out civilization.
Well, I mean, I don't think a whole civilization is going to end, but I think he's exactly right that something needs to change.
Killing people and destroying a civilization is not the answer.
As far as I see it, Trump did the right thing.
It's disappointing to see that. I hope he changes his mind.
It's very concerning to put the public in an alarming state.
Iran gets a nuke. Forget it. The world will go to hell. Get over it. We got a country to save.
I don't normally react to President Trump's social media posts because I kind of don't take them very seriously, which is a problem in and of itself. But they tend to be so hyperbolic and bravado and blowing off his steam that I tend to kind of ignore them. But this was so dangerous and counterproductive that I want to explain a couple things. And I'm not talking to him because he's not going to really care what I say, but I am talking to all young people, to all of us who are dealing with the consequences, because how we talk to each other really, really does matter. And the first lesson is for anybody that cares about negotiations. There's something called anchoring. And when you anchor, you stake a position. And it's a very useful tool in negotiations to take a position. So if I want to sell this watch for $40 and I say that it's 60, then I have negotiation space. But if I say that it's 5,000, people know that it's not, people ignore that anchoring post. Hopefully we can ignore President Trump's threat to evaporate an entire civilization and to throw a nuclear bomb over the people. And so as such, it loses its credibility. Either way, it is such a counterproductive thing to put together the entire people of Iran with this regime, because the most important thing about this is that there's a righteous fight to try to liberate the Iranian people, the Middle East, and the world from this repressive regime, which for 47 years has been the #1 sponsor of terror and who's killed thousands, have killed hundreds of Americans and threatened all of humanity and suppressed an entire people. And upwards of 90% of the people of Iran are against this regime and are actually thanking President Trump for intervening to try to liberate them. And all of a sudden, he basically threatens to destroy all of those people. That's kind of like giving the Islamic Republic regime an ability to say, you see, side with us, because he's otherwise going to obliterate us. So that was really, really counterproductive. He's also shown a video where he mocks Muslim people. It's not useful because you have these United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, all joining with the United States and saying, yes, we need to actually help end this rule of this Islamic Republic regime. So we need to distinguish between despotic rulers like the IRR and its people and the other people of the Middle East. And for me, it's painful to share this message because I actually really, really do support the importance of trying to help end this once and for all. And I think we need to understand and prepare people with set the right expectations that there's a price to be paid if we don't do this. Because if the Islamic Republic regime survives, it's going to reconstitute itself. Its reason for existence is to bring this dark apocalyptic vision to destroy the big Satan that they call the United States and the little Satan that they call Israel, and to hurt all of humanity with what it's proven for 47 years, its way of life of subjugating women, killing women, and doing all of it's horrible things that I've been talking about for the last couple of months. So there is a righteous reason to try to bring them down and to finish the job. If we don't do that in the coming weeks and months and years, it will reconstitute itself. It will continue trying to assemble nuclear weapons, trying to build ballistic missiles and threaten us more and more and more. So sometimes it's better to just bite the bullet and do what we need to do, but we need to do it together. We need to do it united. We need to do it all of humanity to try to help liberate the Iranian people who quest for that. And it might take a little longer, but we need to try to find a way to create the conditions for the Iranian people to rise up against that despotic regime. So let's get that done.
How are all of you doing who decided to vote for Donald Trump in this past election? I vividly remember the day after Donald Trump got elected. There were so many people on this app dancing around saying that they're no longer going to get drafted, that they are going to be able to afford the house, that they are going to be able to afford more things and have an easier life now that he has gotten elected. We are essentially a year and a half into his presidency. We are at war. We are seeing gas prices skyrocket. Things are not getting cheaper. Our grocery bills are especially not getting cheaper. So I'm just curious, to those that genuinely thought that their lives were going to be better when Donald Trump got elected, how do you feel right now? Have things gotten better for you? Have things gotten worse? Have you noticed a difference in your life, especially when it comes to spending?
I did not think this was real. I knew that obviously there was going to be a statement, but to see it in writing coming from the House Democrats, a statement on Trump's threat to kill a whole civilization, it's absurd. The whole thing, absurd. But also, it's absurd that this is what the American people decided the Democrats should be able to do in this situation. Release a statement on a blue background. That is the amount of authority they have given them, that the American people have given Democrats to check a threat to kill a whole civilization. I'm actually speechless.
So Trump just said that the whole civilization will die tonight in Iran if there is no deal reached. Now, people said Trump is not begging. I'm telling you right now that when you get put in a position of power and you are not a warmonger, and you do not like causing and inflicting pain on people, it does hurt you. It's been like that for people I know in fights, myself. When you are the dominant factor in a situation where there is going to be extreme violence and you know that you're not going to lose, then you will feel bad for the people that you're about to harm. And that is where I believe President Trump is. He is begging them not to do what is going to basically lead to the cause of them being inevitably wiped out. Trump is the man. I will give him that, and I love our president. But what I'm trying to tell people is that, like, you have to understand what he's talking about is something very big, and it hasn't been done in a very long time, and he's willing to do that. And you know, it reminds me of Fat Man and Little Boy, right? Like, when that happened, what happened? Well, they were obliterated so bad that we actually had to go over there and help them rebuild. That's how bad they were obliterated. And that was everybody. That was women, children. That was a lot of people. I don't know if that's this right now, but what I am saying is that you should definitely pray for Iran and pray for Trump, because he wants to win. He doesn't want to give them nuclear weapons. He understands the cost of what they've been saying for a lot of years, and now he's making sure that he ensures that they can never have a nuclear weapon again. Knowing all of this, while he understands that there is always going to be people out there who want to basically take him out. He's a good president. He's probably the best president we've ever had.
Trump just posted that a whole civilization will die tonight. On Truth Social, he posted this today, April 7th. So let me explain exactly what's happening. Okay, so we all know that Trump stated that his whole goal was regime change in Iran. They wanted to dismantle Iran's capabilities to protect power and prevent Iran from creating a nuclear weapon. Okay, that was the cause we've been given. Even though the IAEA said there was no evidence of a structural program to produce a nuclear weapon, we went anyway. Okay, we know that. So what did we do, United States? Well, on day one, we assassinated their leader and his family, several top officials, and hundreds of civilians. And we created the Iranian John Wick. Since then, Trump has continued to move his deadline, like time after time after time. He keeps saying, by this day, no, by this day. Okay, by this day, y'all got 24 hours, y'all got 10 days, you got a week, tonight. So tonight's deadline, right, by 8 p.m., this is being called the final deadline. And just so that we understood just how serious this man was, he decided to post it on Easter Sunday, talking about some Tuesday will be Bridge Day and Power Plant Day for Iran. The UN called that a direct incitement to commit war crimes. And Iran's UN mission called it clear evidence of intent to commit war crimes. The White House said, we're not worried about it. It's fine. It's fine. And then today he posted this. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, some of the smartest and most radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful will happen. Who knows? Who can really tell? But we will find out tonight in one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. He's telling 90 million people that their civilization is going to end tonight, and then saying God bless them in the same motherfucking breath? That's not a president talking about government or talking about mission. That is a man talking about people. Killing millions of people, ending millions of people, their existence on this planet. So Iran's response, right, to what Trump said today is that they would act against American infrastructure and its allies in a way that will deprive Americans and its allies of regional gas and oil for years. And they have warned that all restraint has been removed. So yeah, a man with nuclear codes just threatened an entire civilization of 90 million people. No congressional approval, no international coalition, no accountability, and the deadline is tonight. Y'all, this a hot ass mess.
What's up, beautiful and amazing people. So guys, in today's video, I want us to talk about Americans' reaction to the president's remarks on taking out or wiping out the entire civilization. So, guys, what I can tell you is that the move has been considered to be dangerous, immoral, and even illegal. And on that, I can say that I agree. I do agree like 100%. So many Americans are saying that, you know what, this issue, especially, you know, when you talk about the critics, the experts, and many other people, and even just when we talk about the Americans, it's both the politicians, the normal citizens, you know, they are shocked. They are extremely shocked about these statements from the president, from their own president. So we have a group of national security experts who have warned that, you know, what will happen the next time that this particular thing is being discussed about all the time, because each and every time the president is coming out and, like, you know, at throwing words at Iran. So the national security experts are saying that this could turn America into an agent of chaos globally. So if you actually listen to retired military officers, they are saying that, you know, this particular issue that is going on now, especially with the remarks from the president, it's like a war, you know. And I mean, it's not really nice that Americans are going through all these things. Fuel shortage is being experienced in most part of the world, just because, you know, 20% of the oil passes through Strait of Hormuz. So religious leaders have not been left behind, and also globally leaders have come out and said that what President Trump said is morally unacceptable and it is extremely harmful to American citizens. So as you can see that, you know, if you look at the theme and the emotions of this particular feelings, or the main feeling is that, you know, this is not normal presidential reaction. I mean, it doesn't really make sense. And of course, if you look at the political side, there is a division. In fact, they have started a bill to impeach the president of America. So we have those that are still supporting him, and we have those that are criticizing him, especially many Democrats and some few Republicans who don't really believe in his ideology. So those that are not supporting him are saying that these particular statements are unhinged, they are insane and very reckless. So if you talk about what this particular what these people are saying, I mean, they are actually responding massively, and, you know, they are very concerned, extremely concerned, because these remarks from their own president could actually drag America into a catastrophic war, honestly. So we have those that are supporting the president, the allies, the conservative voices, you know, the MAGA people, you know, and what they are doing, man, they are extremely defending their president. They are saying that, you know, they view it as a tough negotiation strategy. They don't even see it as reckless statements and dangerous statements, you know. For them, they believe that it's the president is being tough, and you know, is actually showing his tough negotiation strategy. And again, for these pro-MAGA people, they believe that, you know, the president is pressurizing Iran into a ceasefire and concessions. So I don't know what you think about that. Do you think that the president coming out every day and talking about, you know, I am giving you only 48 hours to open the Strait of Hormuz, and, you know, all those threats, it has been there since, I think, 24th March there up to now. So anyway, you know, it's really, we respect everybody's opinion. There are those that view it as it's a peaceful way of telling the Iranians, you know what, You should. Anyway, I don't know if you really think. Anyway, as you can see, Americans are basically split, and one group believes that is risking the lives of the American people. On the other side, they believe that is kind of trying to force results, the output. So we have the general public mood, which is the people feel anxious, and that is our main talk of the video, because we are actually watching the American people talk from from the bottom of their hearts, from their minds, how they feel about these statements and remarks from their own president. You can see anxiousness, you can see, uncomfortability, and name them. So beyond politics, ordinary American citizens are extremely uneasy about the entire situation. It is them who are suffering. When oil prices or when gas prices go high, it's them that get affected, not the rich people. It's the middle class, and remember, the middle class are the majority. So most Americans, they already oppose the war with Iran, but rather they prefer to go into diplomatic directions. That's what they have been telling their government since this war started. So many Americans are saying that the conflict should actually end, because on our end it is actually cutting down on our taxes, and they're the people that are being deducted these taxes, they're the ones that are paying for all these things. So there is a lot of fear about nuclear escalation, global instability, rising fuel prices, and economic impact. And when we talk about economic impact, it's affecting them negatively. So it's terrible. So I mean, as you can see, many supporters believe that what the president is doing is going to work, and at the end of the day, Iran will back down and apologize. But I don't know if you'll see that. Me, I don't think so, because it seems Iran had really prepared for all this, uh, for any war with America. But again, we have those that are not supporting all these shenanigans, and they're saying it's very risky, and this could actually spiral out of control. And when it reaches there, it's not gonna be easy. So, what do you think Americans are really saying from the clips that we just watched? Of course, we are not seeing, we are not leaning on one side, but we are seeing that what they're saying is that they believe and they know that this is dangerous and illegal. They are concerned that this could lead to a massive war, and they are some of them are supportive in a manner that they believe it's a tough way of bringing out results. And of course, we have also the public who feel exhausted, and they just want this war to end, so that they can go back to their normal lives. Thank you, my good people, for watching the clip up to this point. I truly appreciate your presence. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.